angels. Hello, my beautiful angels. Hello, my beautiful angels. My beautiful angels. My beautiful angels. My beautiful angels. Hello, my beautiful angels. Hello, my beautiful angels.
And welcome back to my channel, guys. I just took a 20-minute walk just to get to this spot, but it's all worth it because I got the sun in my face, I got this nice breeze going on, and there's also a special occasion on which I am here. On this day, 3 months ago, I packed up all of my things in one suitcase and flew to the United States to start a new chapter, I guess. Yeah, I can't believe it has been 3 months. There has been so many amazing experiences so far, and I shared some with you guys, which was amazing for me because I feel like there are so many people out there who are interested in that. And that's the reason why I sat down today and noted down some tips on how to be an exchange student. And the tips I have so far, I mean, there's so much more to come. First of all, on applying for an exchange here, I started this whole idea in my head, I guess, over 2 years ago, and I never really thought it would happen, but when it got to actually applying, it was kind of like taking on a form, and I can definitely recommend applying early because I did not have pressure or too much to do at any point of my exchange year. I had to get a lot of vaccines, and that can take on so much time. So I would say start early. I wrote my letter, which you should put your whole heart into. That letter is the main thing your host family is going to look at. So you really want to put a lot of personality in your letter, a lot of things about yourself, and you would want your host family to make them feel like they can already kind of get to know you through your letters. I wrote that letter summer 2019, and there was, besides that, so much paperwork to fill out, and I think I did, which I stood out for. That's what my host parents told me. The main reason why they picked me was that I did a video, and in that video you can hear me talking in English. You can see my environment, my room. I was just sitting down in my room, actually recorded for 30 minutes straight, and the video should be 4 minutes long. I made it to break it down to 9 minutes, which was already a success for me. And then I also included like a lot of things about myself, and they said it really helped them to decide if they want to host me. A lot of people also ask about interview. So there is actually a person from the agency just coming over to your house, and they ask you questions in English, also some in German, to just give you green light on your whole application. And really, don't be afraid of that interview. It's not that hard, and the best you can do is just be relaxed about it. I mean, they have to know if you can talk English, because otherwise that would be a huge problem if you're in your host family, and you should really not be afraid of that step. I always felt very understood, and I could always ask questions, which is so important. Just ask one more time rather than not knowing or not feeling really comfortable, or yeah, just ask. I mean, that's nothing too bad. My parents asked so many questions. I was kind of embarrassed at some points, but it's always better than being in the unknown, and you can really not do anything wrong with that. I mean, in the end, you should feel comfortable with your placement. You should feel comfortable in your agency and with your whole experience. And when the point comes when you have done everything you could for applying, and you have filled out every form, you've done every extra thing that's out there, there's so much to do, I'm not gonna lie about that, then you really have to just trust the process, because these people know you. They have known you for a long time right now, and they may also know your family. They have a good feeling of where you should be placed, or all of that. And also, I definitely have a belief in faith, and that it all will make sense in the end. So when I actually then got my placement, I wasn't afraid of anything at that point, because I felt so comfortable from minute one. And that is a really, really good sign. I mean, even if you could just still tell your agency that you're not comfortable with the placement, you don't really feel like it's the same vibe, that you guys are getting along that good. I mean, that's a huge thing to just basically to say no to them, to say no to the placement, but it's still better than ending up in an environment you don't really want to be in. And in all that matters, communication again is key. I'm gonna repeat that along this whole video because it is so important, and you can always just talk about your feelings. I told my people from the agency that I'm happy with the placement. I talked to them about what is the next step. Just always give feedback at them, give feedback to your host family. And what we did, we were on a lot of Skype calls, we were just getting to know each other, and at that point I also asked them a lot of personal questions about what their preferences are for food or all of that stuff, because you want to get a picture of what your daily life for 10 months is going to look like. You don't just want to get into it and then be surprised of, oh, they're not even having breakfast or things like that. So you might want to check in on that, and you also might want to know what they would like as a host present, which is something I feel like no agency tells you to do it, but everyone kind of does it. So about the process, really believe in yourself too, because I doubted myself. I doubted that I get placed because my good friend who is doing an exchange here as well got placed some weeks before I did, and she applied way later, and that made me question everything. I was like, what's wrong with my application? What's wrong with me? And in the end, it all worked out, and I should have just believed in myself at that point. So be patient, be definitely patient. It can take a lot of months, especially if you're applying early. And even if you're 2 months before everyone's gonna fly out, you can still get placed. I know a guy here who got placed, it would have been 1 week before he flew to the United States, but because of COVID, it was all pushed back, so it was a little earlier than that. And I mean, maybe that's just my belief, but what happens. It happens for a reason. Let's talk about getting settled in, alright? The first tip I have for you guys is to get to know your host family. You want to create a base, because that's literally the home you return to every single day and the people you see every day. So the first 2.5 weeks, I arrived here August 19th, and school hasn't started yet, so I was kind of quarantined. So I was staying home most of the time, and we just did a bunch of stuff to get to know each other. We hung out most of the time, just chilled, did game nights, hot tub nights, went for shopping trips. We went to the beach one time, we ran a lot of errands, just grocery shopping. We were at the pool area over here, and that process of getting to know your host family really never ends, because there's still so much you can learn about the people you live with, and it's still interesting till this day. I was I kind of was glad that I got these 2.5 weeks for my host family just to get to know them. Another thing is, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't ever sit there and wonder what would happen if I ask. Just ask. The worst thing that could happen is them saying no. And I'm talking about asking them for a ride, asking them for a special grocery you want to get, or just how the dishwasher really works, even if it's the 5th time asking. And also, I did ask a bunch of random questions because I just wanted to get to know them, because it's all new to me, right? So I'm allowed to ask questions. Another thing is, do your household chores. The mentality that I live in this house now as well, I'm part of the family, so I should do all of the chores as well as the others. Since the day I arrived, it has not passed a single day where I haven't done the dishes. I do them every single night, and I'm not complaining, because I'm just as much as a part of the family as the others, and I just do my chores. I have to clean my room, I have to do my laundry, and that's just part of living. I mean, I'm not seeing myself as a guest. I'm seeing myself as part of the family, and that's why I do all of these things. So you want to try to focus on your new environment, especially in the first weeks. I know it's kind of hard because you see so much new stuff and you just want to tell people about it, but you don't really know people here yet. So you kind of just want to talk to your friends all the time, and of course they ask. One of my friends actually blocked all contact when she came to the United States. That is kind of radical for me. What I did was to make sure that I spend more time outside exploring than in my room and answering text messages. From the first week on, I kept up with my parents at home and just talk to them on the phone for the weekend, and I still do that every weekend. I mean, it's like about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and I feel like that's a much better solution than every 3 months just hiding in your room for 4 hours and telling them everything. So I would recommend that, but I feel like that's a very individual thing. Also, you always want to be open for new stuff. That's what this exchange here is about. I have been trying out a lot of fun new stuff, and I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for trying it out, right? You never know, and it's not just about trying new food or trying, I don't know, something different or like a new TV show, right? For me, the best example was we had a weekend planned, and for Saturday we decided to go down to Galveston, which is the beach right here, and I was like super excited. For Sunday we would just go over to my host mom's dad's house and just hang out by the pool. And I was like, yeah, that's probably gonna be a little boring, but the beach is gonna be so cool. And then Galveston, it was kind of, I don't know, I mean, it was still the ocean, but for me it was not as beautiful of a beach as I've seen in France or something like that. But then Sunday hit different. I feel like one of the best times I ever had with my host family. We were just goofing around all the time in the pool. We were chilling, and it was one of the best days I spent with them. So just be open for that. One thing they always say is be yourself. I know this sounds so lame, but let me tell you, I got settled in this host family, and I mean, I don't even know how I get over that awkward phase where you don't really know the people you live with and they're basically strangers to you. But I somehow did. And I definitely kind of was not myself at first, just because it's a different language and different people, different environment. My host parents' daily life is definitely not what I'm used to, and also it's very, very quiet at home. I don't have an exchange sister, they don't have children, so I really wasn't used to that, and I kind of adapted to that. So I was more introverted than I'm usually, and also just did not speak up my thoughts as often as I normally do. And then one day I was like, why am I even doing this? Even if they behave differently, I can still be myself. Ever since that day, I feel even more comfortable in my host family than I did from the moment on. There was just these moments where it felt like kind of weird, not for them because that's what they're used to, but for me it was so quiet. The last thing I want to give you on your way for the first month or the first weeks is find your own routine. I know this is hard because you don't really know what's coming at you. I didn't know that I'm gonna get to know so many people and that I would want to spend so much time with them, but especially for the weeks that I had at home with no school and no real opportunities to get to know people, I kind of had to find my own routine. And I am very independent, so I just started journaling, editing, I went out for walks, did workouts, photos, all of that. Still till this day, even I have already school for like 2 months, I have a very fixed routine, and I still go for a walk or do a workout every day. So it's really something you have to come up with by yourself, because your host parents are usually in their daily life, and then you're just thrown in there. And my host parents are very, very busy people, which I aspire they're very hardworking, so I have to find stuff I could do on my own, and I don't want to be laying in my room all day long watching some cool anime some friends in school recommended to me. So there goes that. So I'm just trying to find my routine and be productive, even though sometimes I don't feel like it. Yay! Also, that cute little thing is matching.